The Philadelphia Eagles have an absolute hidden monster on their roster, and if you haven't been paying attention, you are missing out on one of the most insane defensive developments in the entire NFL. We are talking about a player who has completely defied the odds, shattered expectations, and transformed himself into a legitimate game wrecker. But here is the kicker. Most people still don't even realize his impact. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. Let's get right into the fire. I have a trivia question for you, and I want to see who actually knows their stuff. No cheating. Drop your answer in the comments right now. Who led the Philadelphia Eagles in sacks during the 2025 season? I'll give you a second. Got your answer? Good. Now, here is the second part of that challenge. Who led the team in interceptions? You might be thinking of a star cornerback or a big-name linebacker, but the answer is the same for both categories. It is none other than edge rusher Jalix Hunt. Yes, you heard that right. A guy whose primary job is to hunt down quarterbacks is also dropping back, reading the field, and snagging interceptions like a seasoned safety. It is an absolute masterclass in versatility. And frankly, it's the kind of production that turns a good defense into a nightmare for opposing offensive coordinators. But how did we get here? How does an edge rusher become a ball-hawking playmaker? The backstory is even crazier than the stats. Hunt actually started his collegiate journey as a safety at Cornell. He was playing in the Ivy League, patrolling the third level of the field. Then, he made the move to Houston Christian and transitioned to the defensive line. This means he is relatively new to the edge position, but he is bringing that high-level, cerebral defensive back IQ to the trenches. He sees the game differently than your typical see-ball, hit-ball defensive end. He understands covered concepts, he knows where the holes are, and he knows how to manipulate the pocket. In 2025, Hunt tallied 6.5 sacks and added 3 interceptions to his resume. That is not normal for a guy his size. When you look at his tape, the athletic profile jumps off the screen. The bend, the sheer explosion off the snap, the ability to dip underneath a tackle, it's all there. But it's the intelligence that stands out. He isn't just winning with speed, he is winning with anticipation. During that late season run and throughout the playoffs, he was playing at a level that bordered on elite. Remember that Super Bowl performance? That wasn't just a win. That was a defensive clinic where Hunt and the rest of the front made the opposing quarterback look completely lost. Now let's look at the cold, hard data, because this is where things get truly wild. If you look at the pressure rates from the 2024 draft class, Hunt isn't just hanging around. He is leading the pack. We're talking about guys who were selected in the first round, marquee names with massive hype. Yet, there is Jalix Hunt at the top of the list with a 16.9% pressure rate. Players like Jared Verse, Dallas Turner, and Laiatu Latu are all elite talents, but Hunt is outperforming them in terms of consistent disruption. He was a third-round pick, and he is playing like a franchise cornerstone. Vic Fangio, a defensive mastermind who rarely gives out empty praise, has been raving about Hunt's trajectory. When a coach like Fangio says a player is ready to take the next step, you listen. He's not just high on Hunt. He's expecting him to become a dominant force. So what is the ceiling here? The Eagles have added more talent to the front, bringing in guys like Jonathan Gannon, Arnold Ebiketie, and Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Some might think this rotation will cut into Hunt's playing time. I think the exact opposite. The Eagles' philosophy is to attack in waves, to keep the defensive front fresh so they can pin their ears back and hunt the quarterback for 4 full quarters. Jonathan Gannon's presence is going to elevate everyone's game, but it's going to provide Hunt with even more one-on-one opportunities. If you thought 6.5 sacks was impressive, wait until you see what he does when he's part of this revitalized, deep, and dangerous rotation. He had 55 pressures last year, which put him in the top 20 among all edge rushers in the league. He had 17 quarterback hits, top 10 status, and his grades are only going up. He's already in the green, and he's just getting started. It is an absolute disaster for opposing offensive lines that they now have to account for him on every single snap. But wait until you hear how the league's top front office is viewing their long-term strategy for building this defensive juggernaut. That brings us to the man in the front office, the architect of this entire operation, Howie Roseman. Recently, The rankings came out for the best general managers in the NFL heading into 2026, and it should surprise absolutely no one that Roseman is sitting at the very top of the throne. He is officially the #1 GM in the sport, narrowly edging out John Schneider of the Seahawks. It's a well-deserved recognition for someone who has managed to do the impossible in today's salary cap era. He is one of the only executives in history to win 2 different Super Bowls with 2 completely different cores, different head coaches, and different quarterbacks. That isn't luck. That is pure, calculated mastery. While other teams get stuck in a cycle of mediocrity because they refuse to move on from failed experiments, Roseman is ruthless. He recognizes when a window has closed, he takes the hit, and he immediately builds the next championship-caliber roster. Think about the transition from the previous era to the current one. It was swift, it was decisive, and it was entirely focused on the future. He didn't wallow in the what-ifs. He saw the potential in the new core and went all in. That is the definition of a high-level operator. Whether it's finding gems in the later rounds, pulling off aggressive trades for impact players like A.J. Brown, or finding value in the free agency market, Roseman has created a blueprint that every other team is desperately trying to copy. But it's his evolution as a drafter that really seals his spot at #1. There was a time when the team was trying to get a little too cute with their picks, reaching for guys who didn't fit the culture. Roseman learned from those mistakes. He changed his philosophy. Now, he focuses on taking the absolute best players from the best programs. No more overthinking, no more reaching. Just pure talent acquisition. That shift in mindset has completely transformed the trajectory of the organization over the last few years. He is essentially the gold standard for how to run an NFL franchise in the modern era. Is he perfect? No, because nobody is perfect in a league designed to create parity. But he is as close to perfection as you're going to find. He never stops hunting for an edge. He never gets complacent. And he never stops looking for the next hidden gem like Jalen Hunt. So, here's the big question I want to throw back to you. We know Hunt has the potential to become a perennial double-digit sack artist. He's got the motor, he's got the athleticism, and he's in the perfect system to thrive. So, what is your official prediction? How many sacks is Jalen Hunt going to rack up in 2026? Are we looking at a breakout season that cements him as a Pro Bowl caliber player? Drop a name and a number below, and let's see who gets the closest. It is going to be a wild season, and we're going to be right here breaking down every single hit, every trade, and every tactical shift as it happens. If you want to keep up with the fastest, most high-octane analysis of the 2026 season, you know exactly where to go. Hit that subscribe button, join the community, and let's keep the conversation rolling. I'm curious, though. Who do you think is the biggest threat to this team's success this coming season? Is it the defensive adjustments, the schedule, or something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We've covered a lot today, from the rise of a new defensive star to the brilliance of the league's top front office, and I honestly think this could be one of the most exciting years for the franchise in recent memory. Stay tuned, because we're just getting started. I hope you all have an incredible week ahead, and I will see you on the next one.